Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call the Pickens County Council organizational meeting to order. In the absence of a chairman at this point, and per our usual practice, I will chair this meeting until we have someone to take the gavel, thankfully, from me. As an initial matter, back in December the 5th of 2016, Pickens County Council adopted a set of organizational rules. So I would ask unanimous consent that we continue to operate under those organizational rules. Seeing no objection, it is so ordered. Next order of business under the organizational rules would be an invocation. I ask that you each bow your heads. Creating and sustaining God, we are gathered here tonight for the forming and the meeting of our local form of government. We enter into this assembly with humility as we recognize that even our best actions fall short of your perfect will. Inspire us to trust each other and to ignore those voices around us that would speak of distrust. Lead us to work diligently together, even when our differences make progress seem impossible. And bless us in our efforts, not that we might have our own way, but that we might help bring justice and opportunity to our great county. For even as we are imperfect, we know that your good gifts, love, trust, honesty, wisdom, peace, can sustain us and our community. Trusting as we always do in your providential love. Amen.
Amen.
Second point of order would be a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next order of business is the approval of minutes from the December 5th, 2016 meeting. So that council and the public will be aware, only 2 members of this council were actually involved in that meeting as participants. So we'll dispense with the motion in the second. It's perfectly acceptable for us to...
You can't make a motion and then...
We could, but I was just going to say, by common acclamation, if we'll accept those minutes, if there's no objection. Appears there is none, so we'll adopt the minutes as stated in the packets. The next order of business is the administrator's report.
I'd just like to take a moment to welcome our new council members and thank our existing members, and myself and staff look forward to working with you. We're really excited about the vision and goals y'all set for us, and as always, thank you for what you do.
Next, we have committee reports. Obviously, there's no committee report to be given tonight, so we'll move on to motion period and new business. The first order of business under motion period and new business being the election of a chair. The way that the election will proceed is I will ask for nominations. We can have as many nominations as you wish. If there are multiple nominations, we'll vote on each in turn in the order they were nominated. Votes only for, so I'll ask you to vote for that person for chair. Once there is a motion to close nominations, we will end that portion. If there's only one person nominated and we have a motion to close nominations, then the vote on the motion to close will count as the election. Before we proceed, any questions?
Yes. Restate that again.
I'll ask for nominations.
After nominations, the vote to close nominations.
If there's only one person nominated, then that vote to close nominations will be in effect the vote for the election.
Okay.
All right, I'll open the floor for any nominations for the position of County Council Chair.
I'll nominate Roy Coster, Chair.
All right, we have Roy Coster nominated. Are there any other nominations or motions?
We have to have a second.
We don't for this, not for a nomination.
There's not a second.
We don't have to have a nomination.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Are you accepting the nomination?
Yes.
Is it something you discussed that you want?
Yes.
Okay, because myself or Hensley have been contacted in any way, shape, or form.
No.
I was just curious.
Yeah, we several of us had talked. I hadn't had a chance to even talk to you guys about it.
So, I guess the
And again, the only thing I can say is that I'm new to this, and as far as the protocol as to who to talk to first and when,
Well, it's not a protocol, I just thought it was if it's something you're interested in, you let us know.
I am interested.
Do we have any other nominations or any motions?
I'd like to nominate Inslee. He's got, since I hadn't been contacted, I didn't know there was any discussion at all. But
All right,
he has-
so we have a nomination for Roy Coster, and we have a nomination for Inslee Feemster. Any other nominations? Can I hear a motion that nominations be closed?
Motion.
All right, and a second to that?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All right, that appears to be unanimous, nominations are closed. So now we'll proceed to the election of chair for the two people nominated. I'll go in the order they were nominated. First, I'll say is, all of those in favor of Roy Costner as the chair, please indicate by raising your right hand. All right, all those in favor of Inslee Feemster, please indicate by raising your right hand. Votes 4-2, the chairman is ordered as Roy Costner. Congratulations. And I'll surrender the gavel thankfully to you, Mr. Chair.
So at this time, I guess we'll enter into nominations for election of vice chair. Are there any nominations for election of vice chair?
I would like to nominate Chris Bowers.
Chris Powell. Are there any other nominations?
I nominate Trey Whitehurst.
I will decline the nomination. My schedule does not allow me this morning. Thank you for indicating.
Seeing no other nominations, can I have a?
It would be in order for a motion to close nominations. If someone would like to
Motion
make-
to close the nomination.
Right, if someone would like to make that
So,
motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor,
Then that,
all those in favor, please vote.
all those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, that's the unanimous then.
Mr. Chairman, I can tell you that fairly soon this will be second nature.
All right, so nominations for election of vice chair pro tem. Open up the floor for that.
I would nominate Wes Higgins.
Any other nominations? Then I need to, see none, anyone, make a motion to close the nominations?
I'll make a motion to close the nomination.
Second. Second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And it's unanimous. Wes is pro tem. At this time, the chair is not gonna make any appointments. I wanna, push that, until we can schedule our council retreat, so that we can all get up to speed at the same time. And, I do, also wanna, make, I'm not quite sure what the protocol is on this, but as far as the committees, since we're not appointing any committees, that everything will be in the committee of the whole until such time as we're, able to establish that each of the committees, I mean, with 4 new people coming on board, if everything is in the committee of the whole, that would, I think, solve a lot of problems as far as communication and collaboration. Is there anything specific that I need to do with that?
we've already got stuff in committees right now, so it's not like
Actually,
certain things have to go to certain committees.
Councilman Whitehurst, we do have, we don't have any active council logs. Those logs were all purged at the end of the year.
But they weren't completely empty.
Well, they were purged at the end of the year. They
Right,
are
but there's still
complete.
stuff on those logs in those committees.
No, per the rules, there's nothing on any committee log at this point.
We retained nothing the
You
entire.
retained nothing.
I'll have to, I'll remember that.
Next item on the agenda is the, consent agenda and the council retreat. Well, first, I'm sorry, before, I can move to that, I guess, is there any other new business?
I have a motion that I would like to, make, and, been studying the rules of county council, and forgive me if, a little bit, this is a little bit overwhelming. But, Mr. Chairman, I see in Rule, 83 of the organizational rules on page 26, that I can move to suspend the rules in some cases. And I'd like to move to suspend the rules and direct our staff to fully brief the county council on recreation funds. And I understand that there's been a lot of talk around about some moves we made at the last minute to transfer funds, for the recreation funds, and I was concerned about that. And so, I would like to, suspend the rules and direct the staff to research the issue and brief the council. Now, I understand that the two, current councilmen from the old council probably knows all about this, but we don't. And so I would like for council to come back and fully brief us on, our recreation funds. And I'd like a report from the next meeting. In the meantime, as part of the motion, I would move that no recreation funding request be processed any further into the review is complete, and we as a full council approve it.
Okay, so,
Wait, but hold on, Mr. Attorney,
We need a second before we can discuss.
and that is to add it to the agenda. It's not,
Suspend the rules and take action on it, as I understand the motion.
does this fit into, I'm just asking protocol stuff here.
Well, technically, under protocol, we need a second before we can discuss.
And what rule are we suspending?
The rule that is referenced by
Explain.
Councilman Hudson
Which is
specifically says that it is not necessary to state the rule to be suspended.
Tell me what page you're on in our parliamentary procedures.
On page 26,
Number 3.
Number 3. Can this not just be a request of staff to do this?
as the motion is stated, that we report back, that could be a request. The second part of the motion that I don't remember how, Mr. Hudson,
This is the second part.
Well,
I took it as a freeze on the funds.
Process until a report was made back to the council, for full council.
So anything from the new council that wants to do anything can't be done.
Well,
Gentlemen, again, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we need a second before the discussion.
We'll second for discussion.
well, I believe that, we're gonna address this pretty quickly. So I think it is, your concern is valid, but I don't see anything that is that pressing on rec funds that we couldn't wait a week or the next meeting.
So what you're asking for is the staff to give us a complete report. When's our next meeting we have to decide?
could this be done in council retreat? Because I mean,
Yes, it could be.
Try to set a date for that.
Yes, it could be. We could have that on the agenda.
Okay, so, we're just looking for, and what are you looking for?
Well, I'm just, what I'm hearing on the street and from people, when I've had people call me about it, was concerned about transferring funds out of the recreation committee's, accounts. And so I just wanna know, what we have and what's been transferred. And, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, well, that's something that you'll have a report every month, that tells you exactly what's being transferred.
Well, I tightening up that procedure and making it a little bit more transparent to the public.
Well, okay, well, maybe I can shed some light right now, maybe all council members, because apparently this is an issue that has just gotten
Yeah. Well, if
big,
you-
exploded, and everyone's been throwing stuff out there. We as a council are allocated, it used to be one lump sum
Yeah.
that had to be spent by council, and it's required by law to be spent on recreation or tourism in the county. And what happened is that you had the groups, the larger areas could take advantage in voting situations to block out votes. And so some of the rural areas, you know, that taxpayer money is gone, wouldn't get to go to where it needs to go as far as in that district. So what happened is before I came on council, they broke it up so that it was, everyone had a certain amount of money. And it's $50,000 that we have to spend, and we have to make a request into our, to Ralph, and say, okay, this is for so-and-so, okay? And what happens is that money is allocated as long as it meets the requirements of being for recreation or tourism, okay? Now, there's never been any other, the council or the chairman can't overrule what somebody spends on recreation in their district. And that's kind of what I'm kind of concerned with here, is that there was this idea that somebody wants to restrict somebody's ability to spend in their district, which goes back to what it used to be, where you had, that money being controlled by a few people on the council. The money is for recreation, okay? In my situation, I've got a lot, let's say 95% of that goes to the 6 Mile and to Central to help out with the disc golf course, or they need a lawnmower, they need these type of funds. Okay? And also go into the district, we've done some stuff with some parks and stuff. We've gone back in to help other parks in outer areas. In my area where, you know, Clemson district is pretty much all Clemson. You know, now what happens in Embley, their recreation fund is pretty much funds itself. Inslee's actually helped out in my district occasionally, to get money and stuff, okay? But, you know, I'm, this whole thing that was drummed up, as ethical violations, as you're gonna find out, is garbage.
Well, I'm not saying that.
But I guess my point is that if you wanna restrict these guys from, if I get a request from Central or 6 Mile, and I have money kind of set aside for emergencies.
Yeah.
You know, when they come up and say, we've had a wipeout on our disc golf course, this happened out, I guess, last part of last year, they needed funds, okay? And so I was able to have those funds to help them out in a situation they didn't have money for.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're saying, but what I hear you saying is you want to put everything on hold before you know anything about what's going on or how it works.
Well, we're not talking about a long period of time, 6 months. And also, I just want to know what it's been spent. The other thing is this, how much can you build up in those accounts?
There's no
Okay.
limit to what you, but if you don't spend the money, okay, you don't have to spend it right away. Sometimes money's saved up for a big capital project,
Yeah,
which is what happened I think that happened with, Clemson, when Jeff was here, they used a large sum of money for a larger project. You can save the money up for a larger project.
And if that's the case, I'm fine.
Okay, but that's the whole point. I guess, you're going to learn all this, okay? And I don't think there's any problem with that. And the public can easily have all this information available. This isn't something anyone's trying to hide. These reports come out every month to us from Ralph that says, here's what your new recreation fund, here's how it's been allocated. This is easily enough, anyone can go forward with all this stuff. It is all out there. This is no secret, undermined slush fund where people are spending money to ingratiate themselves. Okay, this money goes to tourism and recreation. As long as it's attached to that, it's money to be spent on that, okay?
I understand that, and I had a lot of discussions with, my predecessor, and, I understand that, and there's no problem. I know a lot how he spent his money.
Your predecessor had a lot of money in his account too.
Yeah.
Well, you know, so But I guess,
I'm not afraid to look at that, so I mean, and, you know, if we need to, all I wanna do is bring us up to speed, and, it shouldn't be a problem.
I don't have any problem with that. My concern is that what you want to say is stop any of these council people. If somebody comes in their district and says, I need some money for this, that we can't do anything until we get a report, which I think you just mentioned, 6 months or something.
No, I don't think so. Listen,
We wanna do it in, within a week is what.
Well, we're not, when we're gonna meet again.
That's what I asked, if, I'd like to, and that's on the consent agenda, was just talk about a council retreat where we could discuss this, and I'd like to set that up for at least within the next week.
Okay, well,
So, I mean, as I understand, and I don't want to speak for, Mr. Hudson, but, I would like to know as well, you know, I understand the rules and the reasons for the recreation fund. I just wanna make sure that, we get completely up to speed as to everything that's transpired. It seemed that a lot of things happened, and again, we hear a lot of things, and we just wanna make sure that we're upfront, transparent with the public, the people who are calling us, and we can, let's just take a look at it over the next week and then move forward.
you all got a lot of things you gotta catch up on.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's a lot to learn, okay, and I think that's great, we can have the discussion here. And if you wanna, I think it's a step to say we wanna restrict all funds. So what you're doing is saying the council now restricts the ability if something happens in Central or 6 Mile, or you're in your district, you know, or something says.
No disrespect, but there's not gonna be a recreation emergency in the next week, I don't think, to restrict those funds over that time. It's just to take a look at what has happened over the past 3 to 4 weeks and make sure that we are in compliance with the rules as they're set forth, and then we move forward. Is there any other discussion? Okay, so, going to move to a vote.
So tell me exactly what we're moving on here?
That's what I was gonna ask to read it one more time, because I tried to write it down, but I didn't get it.
Let me read the actual rules on page 26.
So the motion is what I'm looking for.
The motion is move to suspend the rules in some cases, and what I've got written down, I'd like to move to suspend the rules and direct our staff to fully brief the council on recreation funds. Understand that, there's a lot of people, and I've had people call me, I've heard conversations, and, that there was some money transferred, and, there was concern about that, and I would like to suspend the rules, direct the staff to research the issue, and brief council, and return with a report at the next meeting, and hopefully that can be done within a week.
Okay, so.
And in the meantime, as part of the motion, I move that no rec funding request be processed any further until this is done.
Okay, so that's anything moving forward from this date?
Yes, until we have,
And we have a date on that? Can you put a time limit on the time that we're gonna have this thing?
He's saying that anything that's in process now to stop, and wait until we meet again, so that we can be briefed on everything that we've talked about.
Everything this council can do affects this council forward, which is today moving forward, correct?
It's not, I see where you're going with this.
until we have this meeting and are briefed, I don't know how else I say this, until this happens, it's suspended, it's stopped, it's frozen.
In other words, they can't move forward on any processing of any funds or transfers or anything else that was done previously.
Okay, then what you're doing is that you are putting your actions over top of it, by asking a lawyer a question here. They're superseding actions that may have taken place in a previous council.
Yes.
Okay? So if actions have been already done in a previous council, can the council before come after you've been directed and undo those actions?
The council after, the council that's present, the council that's in meeting, in corporate meeting tonight, is the one that has the authority to direct staff today and tomorrow.
Okay, but for previous actions made by this council,
That happens every time council takes an action. Every ordinance, every resolution moves where council is.
so anything that we do in council, okay, direction of, in particular, like say recreation funds, if I were to say, Central, here's some money for you, then this council can come by and say, no, you can't do that?
The motion, as I understand it, would freeze the account, and that's certainly within the council's authority.
Okay, so what they're going to do is suspend anything that any previous, myself or Inslee included, has done.
As I understand it, anything that's in process now would be suspended by the motion, if approved.
And you're telling me that that is,
Legal and appropriate if council so desires.
Is there any other discussion? All right, I'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the motion as presented by Councilman Hudson, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? All right, it's 4 to 2. All right, moving on to the consent agenda, the council retreat. In light of it being Pickens County and in giving you guys time to come back to us, I originally thought about this Saturday, is trying to get together for the council retreat, but they said we may have snow. And here's dangerous to drive if there's an inch of snow, so. It would, I'd like to put the council retreat for the 14th, that'll be the next Saturday. Is that possible, based on y'all's schedule? Trying to keep it off of work day.
what time are you trying?
I just prefer to do it early in the morning, and that way we don't kill the whole day. Cool, alright, then,
We can have ours ready for you.
you can have it ready by then, okay,
Yes,
good.
What time are we looking at?
Hey, go look at 8, start at 8:30. That give us enough time?
We want to meet at the airport?
That'd be great if y'all, that's,
Airport's a little